You know how many times I wish I had a functioning and fully assembled system that I could just use to create one of these bootable floppy disks, or to scan a hard drive for bad sectors, or to enjoy one of those old games I grew up with. Now you will laugh, but unfortunately I don't have a system that is ready to go, and today I want to change that. I will build a system on my favorite platform, Socket 3 and 486 CPUs. Now if you want to know my reason, well, 486 was my first PC I've ever had, and that is why I'm attached to this platform. As a base, we'll use this motherboard from Soyo, the 4SAW2. The number 2 at the end of the model number indicates how much cache is installed. The 2 stands for 256. So you may have guessed it, there was also a 4SAW5 for 512 kilobytes cache. When I found this board at the scrapyard recently, it came with a rechargeable battery. I replaced this already and added a button cell holder, which is great because this board already came with a provision for this type of battery. The heart of the system will be the 486 DX2-66. Even though this motherboard is a late model socket 3, it only supports FPM memory. So unfortunately we can't use EDO, but I think on 486 systems this doesn't make a big difference anyway. The great thing about this board is that we have 4 PCI slots, as well as 4 ISA slots, and we even have a VLB slot. So yeah, we have great expandability here. Instead of using this CPU, because this one is actually dead, I had this on my channel already before, I deleted the back and you could see a close-up of the die. So if you want to watch this video, here in the top right corner, have a look at this video if you want to see some die shots. I'll use this CPU. This is essentially the same thing, but this one works. We have our 8 megabytes of memory. So this is 2 times 4 megabytes FPM memory. And we will also use these plastic standoffs, believe it or not. The case that I have requires them. It doesn't have the space for the metal standoffs at the back panel of the case, but instead it has the cutouts for these plastic spacers. So yeah, we are going to use those. Now let me get the back panel, which is detachable from the case. I always dislike that these boards are so flexible on this side. There's no support on the boards. So yeah, if you press really hard, you could short things out. But this is how it was designed, and this is how we're going to use it. Okay, so our board is installed. Let's talk about which graphics card we are using. And that will be very simple. I'm going to use an S3 Trio 64V+. This card was already on my channel. I repaired it by swapping the graphics chip. The graphics chip that was on this card just simply didn't work anymore. Now, before I forget, let's connect the serial and parallel ports. Here is an issue though. There are different pinouts for serial and parallel ports. This board has a different pinout from other boards that I have had. When I use incompatible connectors, my serial ports will not work. So for instance, I cannot attach a serial mouse. I'm not sure about the parallel port, but the serial port definitely is an issue. So we'll try this. I have 2 serial port connections here. We'll see if it works or not. One is a 25 pin, one is a 9 pin connection. So I just noticed that my parallel port cable is mutilated and yeah, I'm feeling uncomfortable using this. I either fix it or I use a different one. But let's not get sidetracked for now. I'm pretty sure that we have plenty of other issues to solve. This is always with old retro machines. You never know what kind of surprises are waiting for you. And yes, I am using an old AT style power supply that I found with this case at the scrapyard. I already tested it. It does seem to be okay, although the voltages are a little bit off, but I might have gotten bad readings because I only tested this power supply with one hard drive. The black wires go together. So I just noticed I wanted to use this drive cage for my hard drive because here I have a floppy drive and later on I may want to add something else like an iOmega zip drive. But the problem is I will not be able to add the screws here when the motherboard is in. So let me quickly get the motherboard back out and let me install the hard drive. Yes, we're going to use a real hard drive. We're going to use this Western Digital Caviar 2850. I had an exact model like this in my 486 back then. Now, unfortunately, I also noticed that if I want to install a floppy drive here, I have very limited access to those screw holes. Yeah, not ideal. I will also go ahead and just install my floppy drive. It's a Panasonic 3.5-inch standard floppy drive. So I will add this, and I also will add the iOmega zip drive. I will just install it. I will not connect it. It will be just there for a future video. I just don't want to disassemble this case. I forgot how painful it is if you wanted to change anything on those cases. There is still the metal cover here, and these ones are great for cutting yourself. Okay, so here's the plastic cover, front piece. Now let's try to get this one out. Bend back and forth and back and forth. Here we go. Ah, there we go. Oof, okay. Who remembers these ones? I think I have to take the floppy drives out again. Okay. Here we go. And let's push the hard drive all the way to the back. I think here on the bottom I would have space for a fan. Yeah, this is a metal cover that's just bolted to the case. Perfect. I already installed the 3.5-inch floppy drive, but we also need a 5.25-inch floppy drive. And this one here is also from Panasonic. And we will even add a CD-ROM drive. It was manufactured in April 1994. It is a Matsushita Kotobuki, which essentially is also a Panasonic drive. But this drive has a secret. Let's have a look at the back of the drive. So here we have our power connector, and here we have our 40-pin, here's 40-pin connector. However, this is not an IDE drive. If you look this up, this is the Panasonic CD interface, also known as MKE CD interface for Matsushita Kotobuki Electronics. This connector is not compatible with your IDE controller. If you plug it into your IDE controller, you risk damaging something. So yeah, good that I looked this up. Just for the model number, this is the CR562B. Now, where can we get a controller from? Luckily, sound cards from that time had all sorts of connectors available. I don't know why it fell on the sound card to provide all these interfaces, but here you can see we have 4 connectors. We have Mitsumi, we have Sony, this is the shorter one, then we have the Panasonic or the Matsushita that we have here, and this one here is a normal IDE controller. I think the only difference is that the signals are on different pins. There is no magic to it, and every manufacturer had their own standard at that time before IDE took over. So I connected everything. Sound card is in the system, graphics card is in the system. I hooked up the fan. This one should start blowing. Hard drive that's connected, and our 3.5-inch floppy drive. I have not connected any of the other drives. CD-ROM drive we will do later. The 5.25-inch floppy drive I will only connect after I can verify that this 3.5-inch floppy drive is working. Let's see if the system powers on and we can get into the BIOS and yeah, detect the hard drive and boot from the floppy drive. Well, that's very good. Okay, so our IDE drive is connected to the wrong IDE port. Okay, so this is the first issue. Our 3.5-inch floppy drive is not in drive A because it's on the second ports of the floppy cable. So this is drive B. You have to configure it here. And let's see if we can go ahead and boot from drive B. Okay, so there is no drive B available. Let's see if this works. And no, that does not work. So it can only boot from drive A. I guess it's time to connect our drive A then. Let's see if we can boot from drive A. Wow. That works. Okay, let's see if we can access drive B. Our two floppy drives are working. That's amazing. Now, can we access drive C? No. So we have 814 megabytes and is a non-MS-DOS partition. So let's just go ahead and create an MS-DOS partition. First, we need to delete our existing partition. A non-MS-DOS partition is detected and we want to delete it. Yes. Okay, partition deleted. Now we create a new one. Create primary. And we want to make it active as well. And this will be hopefully fixed. Now I have a problem with the setup because every time I want to boot or install MS-DOS, for instance, I cannot boot from drive B. So what I need to do is I need to move drive A to drive B and vice versa. There might be an option in the BIOS, swapping floppy drives. So now we should boot from drive A, which is our 3.5-inch floppy drive. So there is an option in the BIOS that allows you to swap floppy drives. How cool is that? And here we go. We are booting from the 3.5-inch floppy drive, even though this is normally the B drive. Okay, great. We have our hard drive and everything looks good. So let's figure out what's going on with our IDE controllers and connect our CD-ROM drive. So this one will be a little bit challenging. Panasonic is the second one. Here I have an IDE cable that only has 2 ports. One goes up here. Okay. Now the other one we have to get through here somehow and up to our CD-ROM drive. Okay, that looks about right. So no, it's not that easy. C drive is here, D drive is not. There are no jumpers on the card. I guess I have to do this in software. I also added another drive to this machine. It's a compact flash reader. And this is for me to have an easy way to bring large files to this machine if needed. Now, the only thing that's pending is our CD-ROM drive. And then I think we have everything that we want to have. So drive D is our compact flash card. Nice. Okay, and this is the installation program for our Opti 929 Pro sound card. This is exactly what we have in the system. We will install drivers and utilities for DOS and Windows, configure and test your sound card, install and set up CD-ROM software drivers. This is what we want. So, start installation. Drive C, yeah, why not? Actually, no, we'll not do this right now because I have nothing set up on my drive C yet. So if I need to make any changes to the auto-exec, it's not going to happen because I don't even have MS-DOS installed. So for now, let me just install MS-DOS quickly and then we'll run the setup program one more time. And we are booting MS-DOS. Nice. So we were here before. We want to install specifically the CD-ROM software. And yes, we installed it into drive C. This is our drive that we installed just MS-DOS on. Yeah, so we need about 1 megabyte of space for this. That's okay. So, CD-ROM drive list. 5.6. Oh, here's our drive. 5.6.2. Okay, let's try this. Select OK if you want to accept the default settings for your CD-ROM. Yes, I think we will just leave that as is. And okay, now we can configure the sound card. Windows Sound System and Sound Blaster Pro. We definitely want to go with the Sound Blaster Pro. Yes, these are the correct settings. And we have our Panasonic drive. Sound test. Okay, that would be interesting. Okay. 16-bit. So this should be our FM synthesis. This should go over the OPL3 chip. Okay, 3 notes. Okay. So our sound card seems to be working. Accept. So this is why I wanted to install MS-DOS before. Now it's going to change our config sys and autoexec but. Okay. Installer has completed successfully. Let's try and reboot. That little PC comes to life slowly. I can see all the LEDs coming to life. But we still have an issue with our CD-ROM drive. What does that even mean? Interface board or CD-ROM drive is not ready. I just changed the ID now from 0 to ID number 2. And now it seemed to have worked. Unfortunately, this was so quick. Let's have a look one more time what this exactly printed on the screen. So it loaded the device driver and then device name MSCD000 supporting the following units. So I have unit 0 at ID 0. But this one is no longer there. I changed it to ID 2 and we actually have 2 CD-ROM drives detected. That's not correct. Okay, we have 2 CD-ROM drives. That's interesting. So D should be our compact flash drive. What is drive E? Oh, drive E doesn't even work. We have 2 CD-ROM drives, but we can't access it. Oh, wait a second. I saw something else. It said not enough something. Not enough drive letters available. So, let's try last drive and let's see if this makes a difference. So, and 2 CD-ROM drives and oh. D is our compact flash. What's drive E? Oh, we have access to the drive. Does it spin up? It does. What is in drive F? Okay, I have the drive twice. That's a little bit of a sad thing, I guess, but that's not correct, but we have a drive. So this last drive, you could set it to H, for instance. It requires a little bit less memory, I think, if you're not accounting for all the drive letters. But why do I get 2 drives? This is my issue. So we still have 2 drives. Yeah, I don't understand why I get this drive twice. I give up. Let's move on now. I think I wasted enough time. Let's install Windows 3.11. Before we install Windows, let's figure out if our COM ports are working. And I do have a cursor, but it doesn't move. So that tells me that the pinout on my connector is not correct. I need to replace this with another one. And now our mouse works. So yeah, there are unfortunately different types of serial connectors and they are not compatible to each other. But now we can finally go ahead and install Windows 3.11. And you can see now we also have in the mouse section, we have a Microsoft or IBM PS2 mouse registered. So yeah, this was all that was needed. But if you don't know that the cable is at fault, good luck figuring that out. Okay, and we're in Windows, but no sound. So let's figure out what's going on. Oh, I haven't used this operating system for such a long time. So where is... No, not accessories. We need to go to our control panel. And here we have drivers and sound most likely doesn't work because we don't have a driver yet. So let's figure out what's going on here. Okay, so we have no sound card at all. Let's go to DOS and run the installer. Hopefully we will see an update to our Windows configuration files and we'll be able to hear sound. Yes, start the installation. We install into the same directory. Oh, now it asks for our Windows directory. Nice. Okay. Let's test quickly. Yeah. And 16-bit. FM. Yeah. Okay. We're done. Accept. And now it's updating configsys and autoexec, and it also asks us to update the Windows system files. We still get the 2 drives detected, unfortunately. Maybe it's because of the cable. I only have an IDE cable in there that has 2 ports. One goes to the motherboard, one goes to the CD-ROM drive. I'll try this, maybe later, not now. Let's listen to sound. Yay! We have sound in Windows. Oh, so this is very low. Master, line, wave, and synth. We don't need recording. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it will go much smoother than this. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised. This project was a lot harder than I thought. I don't remember much about these AT cases and you have to follow a specific order of installing things, or you'll run into issues with incompatible cables. We definitely had an issue with the COM ports, but maybe we also have an issue with our CD-ROM drive. And that is also a big takeaway, that not everything that looks like an IDE interface is an IDE interface. This is the MKE, or the Panasonic CD-ROM interface. You cannot plug the CD-ROM drive into a regular IDE port. So yeah, I needed a sound card that supported it. Luckily, there are plenty of sound cards available that support Mitsumi, Sony, and Panasonic. And if you're lucky, it even supports a regular IDE interface. I don't know why the CD-ROM drive is available twice. It's the same drive. So you can see it here. I have drive E and F, and it's the same drive. So this is drive E, and this is drive F. It's exactly the same drive.
Eventually.
And guess what? One CD-ROM drive. You will not even believe what the reason for that was. Same as with our COM port. We have an issue with the IDE cable. So this is the cable I used. It only has 2 terminals. One goes to the motherboard, one goes to the device. And yeah, this cable caused the issue of 2 CD-ROM drives being detected. If you use a regular cable, one that looks like this, then it works perfectly. So here you go. A small issue on which I wasted so much time. So let's quickly check what's happening in Windows. Okay. And we have only one CD-ROM drive. This is our compact flash. This is our CD-ROM. And here's our Windows installation and MS-DOS. Everything is perfect now. Well, now it's up to you to let me know what we are going to do with the system. We definitely need to upgrade the memory. 8 megabytes is okay for Windows 3.1, but if we want to play around with Windows 95, I think we do need at least 32 megabytes. And of course, this is going to be a system that I'll be using for future projects. If you have any ideas, put it in the comments. And this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all my Patreons. And I will see you in the next video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, maybe it's a good time to do this as well. Thank you so much, take care, and bye bye.